Recording in progress.
Okay. So today we will start by proving the proposition we left last time. About the fact that a finite ring category with left dual is a tensor category. So if you assume the ring category to be finite, then the existence of left dual implies the existence of right dual. So proposition. So we already stated this proposition last week, and we started the proof, but I will come back from the beginning and summarize what we already done. So a finite ring category C with left duals is a tensor category, which means it also has right dual. In fact, to prove that, we will proof ID of the proof. The ID is show. So show that the functor is essentially surjective. So if the functor that takes the left dual is essentially surjective, that means that for all x in C, there exists x prime in C such that x prime star is homomorphic to x. But if here this is the left dual of that, but recall that if A star equal B is a left dual of A, then B is the right dual of A. Then A is the right dual of B. So we prove that for any monoidal category. Okay. So you are reduced to prove that this functor is essentially surjective. So we will start by proving that on the simple object. So we will start to prove that. By that I mean essentially surjective. Prove that on the simple object. Ça va le son là? So okay. Okay. So recall. So last time I made some recall about the Frobenius-Schur dimension. So FP dim min Frobenius-Schur dimension. I will not rewrite again the recall I wrote last time about Frobenius-Schur dimension, and recall that Fp dim of x star equal Fp dim of x. Okay. So to prove that the dual functor is essentially surjective on the simple object, we first need to show that the dual of a simple object is a simple object. So yeah, we will first need to show that if x is simple, then so is x star. So the dual functor map simple to simple. Okay. So we need to organize a bit the simple object according to the Frobenius parent dimension, because we will need to make an inductive proof. So let D1, D2, dr be the ordered list of possible FP dim Frobenius parent dimension of simple object. Of the category. So for all simple objects, for all S simple, there exists I such that Fp dim of S equal di. Okay. So so you have the let big O of C be the simple object of C up to isomorphism. Okay. Or, if you prefer, yeah, isomorphism class of simple object. And let big O index I of C. So it's a finite set. It's a finite set. Finite set by assumption. By assumption. Because what is the assumption? It's a finite. Yeah. Here, finite in particular, you have finitely many isomorphism class of simple objects. So you have finitely many simple objects up to isomorphism. So it's a finite set. Finite set. So consider the subset. Subset of simple object of C up to isomorphism with Fp with Frobenius parent dimension equal to di. So the subset of all the simple objects of Frobenius parent dimension di up to isomorphism. Yeah. I equal 1 to Okay. So we need, as I said, we want to prove that the dual is essentially surjective on the simple object, in particular, lemma. So the proof of the proposition require to prove the following lemma. So lemma. So let L in. So let be a simple object of dimension di. Then the dual of L is simple. And there exists L prime in OI of C such that L is isomorphic to L prime star. So in other words, what? Induce a bijection on the finite set. The bijection. Because you have isomorphism here, but this is up to isomorphism. So this induces a bijection. So proof. Proof. Proof of that. If prove by contradiction, if the dual of L is not simple. So if it is not simple, then he has a sub-object. He has a sub-object which is not isomorphic to 0 itself, in particular. Then there exists a non-zero map K from K L star. So with K simple. So you can do that by because use the finite assumption. So finite means finitely many simple objects, but also finite lengths. So you can make a chain. You can make a chain of sub-objects, and by finiteness, you should reach a simple one. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I should write that. By finiteness. By finiteness, you can make a sequence of strict subobjects L star like that, and by finiteness must reach a simple object. Okay. Okay. And the subobject. So the Frobenius parent dimension of K is less than Frobenius parent dimension of L star, which is equal to the Frobenius parent dimension of L, which is equal to di. Yeah. Okay, so should I write? Yeah, it's not simple. If it is not simple, because you can make a strict inequality here because it's not simple. Okay, so it's strict. And then, so if I equal to 1, then the Frobenius parent dimension of K strictly less than D1, which is contradiction, because K is simple. Contradiction with the assumption, where is it? Here. D1 is the smallest D1 is the smallest possible F Frobenius parent dimension of a simple object. Contradiction when I equal to 1, so So the assumption was false when I equal to 1. So yeah, so the functor is stable on O1 of C. So if L is in O1 of C, then L dual is also in O1 of C. So this is stable on this finite set. Now we will prove a claim on such set where the dual is stable. So claim if the dual is stable on OI of C. So in particular, we know it is stable for I equal 1. Assume if it is stable on OI for some I, we don't know in general, but then it induce. It is a bijection. You need to put induce. It is a bijection. So yeah. So this functor is on the category, but this is simple object up to isomorphism. So you consider this as a map, as a function on a finite set. It induces a function. Then it is a bijection. We identify the function induced by with itself. So it is a bijection. Okay, so let bijection. Okay, so we need first to prove it's an injection. But it's proof of the claim. Proof of the claim. We are reduced to prove that it is an injection because this is a finite set. On a finite set, a bijection, a map is a bijection if only if it is an injection, if only if it is a surjection. A map, wait, so on a finite, on itself, yeah, an injection on itself. A map from an infinite set to itself. Because it's a finite set. Okay. So to prove it's an injection, so let L1, L2 be so you take two elements in this set such that L1 star is isomorphic to L2 star. Show we need, so we will show that L1 is isomorphic to L2. This is injection. So because L1 isomorphic to L2 imply you have an isomorphism. So in particular, this home space is non-zero. Is non-zero because you have one isomorphism. You have and then but this functor is full. So this home space is also non-zero. But L1, L2 are simple. So by Schur lemma, L1, so the non-zero element of C L1, L2 must be an isomorphism. In other words, L1 is isomorphic to LP. And so you have this injection, but an injection, it's a surjection, so it's a bijection, it's a bijection. So what was the claim? Stable. So where we use, so we use it is stable here because we I don't know, because we use the fact that this, I don't know where we use that. Yeah, we want to prove it is it's an injection on itself, so we need it to be stable. It's a map from that to itself, so it must be stable, of course. Okay, so is injective from a finite set to itself, so is bijective in particular surjective. Yeah, bijective. We wanted bijection, so it's bijective. It's a bijection. Okay. So this is a claim. End of the proof of the claim. Okay. Then so in particular, okay, the bijection. In particular, for all L in OI of C, under the assumption of stability, there exists L prime in OI of C such that L prime star isomorphic to L. This is really what we need. This is, of course, the reformulation of surjective. Okay, so then, so it's okay. We already know that it is stable when I equal 1. So this is the end of the claim. We know that is stable on A1 of C. So we have the bijection here. So everything is proved. So the lemma is okay. We deduce that lemma is okay for I equal 1, and we will, so we can, so we will make an proof by induction for general I. Okay. Okay. So let's come back to so now we can assume I to be so we come back to the beginning of the proof here. Beginning is if L star is not simple. So we know this is not possible if I equal 1. And so we made some K like that. But this was written in general, not only for I equal 1. So we can come back to that. So let us come back to L and K from the beginning, and K less than L star from the beginning. K simple. Okay. Then, so we know. So so K is less than di. So we can apply the induction on K. There exists K prime such that K prime star equal K. K prime simple. Okay. Is isomorphic to K. Then so there is a non-zero map. So here we wrote, it's not, yeah. So there is a non-zero map like that. si k L star 0. But again, the functor is full, so so what? Yeah. So si L wait. Yeah, it's a contravariant functor because maybe I made a mistake before. So you have to remove the contravariant functor, so you have like that, non-zero, but before I made a mistake somewhere. Yeah. Here you need to put L2. It's a contravariant. L2, L1. Okay. So it's non-zero. So you have this is non-zero, but here L and K prime are simple with L K prime simple. So again, by Schur lemma, L is isomorphic to K prime. Contradiction with f pdim of K strictly less than di equal f Frobenius power dimension of L. So yeah, contradiction. Then, so the initial assumption is false. This assumption is false. Then the initial assumption L star is not simple is false. L star is simple. It's false. So L star is simple. So this functor is stable on OI of C for all I. Then by the previous claim, it's a bijection. And so, what we wanted to prove. So it's stable, the stable, we did that. And it's a bijection. Yeah. So it's okay. Introduce a bijection because finite set. So it's okay. Everything is okay. So we finally prove the proposition. Or the lemma. We prove the lemma, not the proposition. We prove the lemma. We did not. So it's okay for on the simple object of the lemma. End of the proof of the lemma. Now we can come back to the proposition. So what was the proposition? The lemma. Yeah. So the existence of a left dual implies the existence of right dual. So we need to prove that. This biject, to prove it's essentially surjective. So the surjection we get for the simple object, we want to have that in general for all objects. We can get because then, as I said, if you have if the left dual is surjective, then you can make right dual like that. Okay, so now let us come back to the pose, almost the pose. So let us come like that here. Let us come back to the proof of the proposition. And now it's the pose. Pose. Okay, so let us come back to the proposition. So, in fact, we essentially proved the proposition for simple object, so in particular, for semi-simple object. So the direct sum of simple objects. So if the category is assumed to be semi-simple, then everything is done now. So the rest of the proof, we need to deal with projective object and projective cover and something like that, because such category is semi-simple if and only if every object is projective. But you have some, if it is not semi-simple, you have some objects which are not projective, and then you deal with projective cover. So this will be what we'll do in the rest of the proof of the proposition. So by the previous lemma, by the lemma, the contravariant functor induce bijection on OI of C, so on O of C, the union of all the OI. So also a finite set also, because by finiteness. Then So the covariant functor G equal, apply 2 times the star. Is also, so it's a bijection, a permutation, a bijection of finite set. You can call that a permutation. There's also a permutation of this finite set. But so it's a how to say, but a permutation of a finite set S is an element finite set F, finite set finite set I don't know. So is, so finite set is an element of the group Sn with n equals order of the set. In particular, as an element of a finite group, it has finite order. But Sn is a finite group, and every element of a finite group has finite, every element of a finite group have a finite order, finite order. Smallest, the order is the smallest r such that GR equal E, identity. Finite order. Particular E G power n, G power n factorial. Here, the order of this group is n factorial. Is equal to E, the neutral element. So it's finite order. Finite order. In particular, then there exists R such that the functor f defined as n times g, I mean, yeah, g n times r times. So you denote that, denote it g power r. Satisfy. So you so you take the order of this permutation. So you have an integer such that so this satisfy, this functor satisfy. So this functor is the identity on the simple object up to isomorphism. So this satisfy f of L isomorphic to L for all L in this set, so the simple object up to isomorphism. This is simple, this finite set. Okay. Okay. So, so by assumption, we are in a multi-ring category. Where is it? In a ring category. So the tensor functor is exact by definition. So small exercise show that. Yeah, this is almost trivial, but exercise show that f is exact and fully faithful. But you see, f is can be written as a composition of exact, fully faithful functors. This is almost trivial. This is trivial. It's fully faithful. Okay. Then so f is exact and fully faithful. Okay. So let so f of L is isomorphic to L for all L. So let L simple object and consider the projective cover. Consider its projective cover. Projective cover PL. So such it exists by assumption again. Because we assume it's a finite ring category, and in the assumption finite for an abelian category, you have one of the axiom for finite is enough projective, and enough projective mean there is a projective cover for every simple object. So it exists by finite assumption. Okay. So then so you have the projective cover. So you have an epimorphism with some universal property, and now you apply so epimorphism. Now you apply the functor f, and you have fpl, f of p, f of l, f of l, and f of l is isomorphic to L. We already know that. So we know, and so exercise, I don't know, maybe it's also trivial. Exercise. FPL is projective. So maybe if you have a projective object, you apply a functor, it's also projective, but it should be true in general, but we only need that. So it's projective. Okay. And the goal here is to prove. So what is the goal? We prove that we need to prove that these two are isomorphic. So we have this projective. So this is a projective. So show that. I don't know if you, so F P L projective. So maybe we don't need that. I don't. Let me see. So we know you have L here. So you have this epimorphism also. We have L, but we ask whether you can have something else. So can you have another? So is what about F P L P prime some L prime? What about the existence of? So we ask whether FPL cover another simple object or not. P prime epimorphism, L prime simple. What about that? The point is that F is full again. So you can come back. So if so, so if you have something like that. So you have F, you have PL, F, no, not like that. And so here you should have L prime also. So because F is full, if you have something like that, then PL must cover another simple object. So here there is another exercise. Here we need the following. PL L prime, so epimorphism, epi with L prime simple imply that L prime is isomorphic to L. So in other words, we need that if you have two simple objects, then their projective cover are isomorphic if and only if. So in some sense, the projective cover map is injective on the simple object. You have the set of simple objects, you apply the projective cover, and this should be an injection. So the projective cover, yeah. So this is that, what we need. So this is the exercise. So exercise. So if So in other words, if this cover another simple object, then it should be isomorphic to L because F is full. So L prime is isomorphic to L. Then and because wait, F because F is full. And so FPL has a unique simple, so it covers a unique simple object, so it has a unique simple quotient. Simple quotient F of L isomorphic to then but you have the universal property. So then by the universality of the projective cover, so you have FPL. We know that and that PL. So you should have something like that. So there exists an epimorphism from FPL to PL. And so we already so this exercise. This is projective. So you have an epimorphism like that, and so now exercise. Okay, exercise. So the functor f keep the length of the object. So maybe it's true in general for any functor, but we only need f. Yeah. So then this is exercise. Then FPL and PL have the same length. So then exercise again. Deduce that. So deduce from the fact that you have an epimorphism and they are the same length. Deduce that the epimorphism from FPL to PL is an isomorphism. Okay. And so now you have that so FPL. So the functor f so if you restrict to the projective cover of simple object, it's you have such isomorphism. So it's almost an equivalence on the projective cover of the simple object, but in general, so again, so I put a lot of exercise here because it's in it's about the non-simple, the non-semi-simple case. I am not that much interested in the non-semi-simple case. In fact, I should only restrict the proposition to the semi-simple case because I am mainly interested in the semi-simple case in my research. But to be so, I say I will cover the book, so I cover the book. I talk about the non-semi-simple case, but I'm not so interested in that case. So that's why I put a lot of exercise. I don't provide a lot of details here because I am not interested. Then, at least not yet. So then, so you deduce that this is an isomorphism on the projective cover of simple object, and then you need to deduce that on every projective object. So deduce that f is induce is surjective, so induce a surjection on isomorphism class of projective object. So we have that. So then it's okay for the projective object. It's okay. What we want to prove is okay for the projective object. But for F, it's okay for the projective object. It's okay for the simple object. Okay, exercise. Or maybe reference, I don't know. It's a bit reference. I mean by here is not the goal is not to make the exercise, but maybe to look for a reference. Look for a reference. Any object of C is isomorphic to some cokernel M so with M so you have two projections for some projection P1, P2. So let me check again. Projective object. Yeah. So every object can be written as a coker of a mat between two projective objects. For some projective like that. Okay, and then last exercise. Deduce from previous exercise and the fact that F is fully faithful, that, to deduce that F is surjective on isomorphism classes of object, any object. In other words, essentially surjective. Essentially surjective means surjective up to isomorphism. Okay. But fully, so we already know, we recall that in some previous course, fully faithful plus essentially surjective. This means equivalence. So F is an equivalence. The functor F is an equivalence. In particular, the functor dual must be essentially surjective. So F is a composition of the dual functor with itself sometimes. So the dual functor is also an equivalent. So in particular, it's essentially surjective. In particular, so which means for all x in C, there exists x prime such that x prime star isomorphic to x. And as I said at the beginning, recall that if A star equal B, so if B is a left dual of A, then A is a right dual of B. So x prime is a right dual of x. So right dual always exists. So it's rigid because the left dual exists. So it's a tensor category. Okay. So this the end of the proof of the proposition. Look at that. Proposition. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 slides for only one proposition. For a finite ring category, the existence of left dual implies the existence of right dual in particular. So then it's a tensor category. Okay. So what time is it? It remains 12 minutes. 12 minutes. So next proposition is about it's about projective object and tensor product. So the next proposition is quite short to prove. Maybe this will be the last proposition of today. So the next proposition says that if you have a projective object P, and if you have an object X which admitting a left dual, then the object P tensor X is also projective. So this proposition deals with projective object with left dual, and tensor product. So proposition. So let P be a projective object in a multi-ring category. So now we come back to multi-ring category. It's not only ring category. If X has a left dual, respectively a right dual, then the object P tensor X, respectively X tensor P, il n'y a pas de question. X tensor P, non, is projective. Projective. So the proof is quite short. You just need to apply the natural adjunction isomorphism. So proof. So we will consider. We will prove the left case. The right is similar. So the left case, I mean left, that and that. Okay, so what's the meaning of what is the meaning? So what is the meaning of an object to be projective? So recall. An object Q is projective if and only if the functor, the Ohm functor is exact, but the Ohm functor is already left exact, so we need the Ohm functor to be right exact. So if and only if Ohm CQ is exact by definition. If okay. Well, it's not if and only if because it's the definition. But yeah. Anyway. So, okay. So we need here, we need to show that this, so P tensor X, this functor is exact. We need to show that this functor is exact. But X has a left dual. Has a left dual. So above functor is exact. So by the natural adjunction isomorphism, the above functor is exact if and only if this one, P, so you put X on the right, tensor X star is exact. But this last is exact as the composition of two exact functors. The functor, this one, the functor like that, which is exact by definition of multi-ring category, or multi-ring category is assumed to be bi-exact. I assume the tensor functor to be bi-exact. So this is exact. And this one which is exact because P is projective. So it's a definition of being exact. So as a composition of two exact functors, it is exact. So this one, this is exact, this is exact. So this is a composition of two exact, it's exact. By the natural adjunction isomorphism, the exactness of this one is equivalent to the exactness of this one. So this one is exact. And this one is exact, mean that this object is projective. And this is what we wanted to prove. So the result for so P is projective. So the result follow. Yeah, anyway. We are done for this proposition. Yeah. So let me state what we will prove tomorrow. I have a few minutes to state the corollary. We will prove that tomorrow. So corollary. If C is a multi-ring category with left dual, for example, a multi-tensor category, then the unit is projective. The projective object if and if C is semi-simple. If and if C is semi-simple. Okay, so we will see that tomorrow. Let me see now that this corollary is an extension to Mackey theorem in group theory. Mackey theorem says that the category of representation of a finite group over a field K is semi-simple if and if the order of the group is non-zero over this field. In particular, if K is of characteristic P and P do not divide the order of the group. So this is a generalization of this well-known theorem in group theory, that's the representation of rotation category of finite group over a field K, a finite field K or a field of positive characteristic. Semi-simple if and if. If the characteristic is zero, it's always semi-simple because the order of a group is never zero. But if the characteristic is P, then it's semi-simple if and if P do not divide the order of the group. Okay, so we will see that tomorrow. See you tomorrow.